Christine with What's Up Cupcake Whimsical Crafts. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a comprehensive review on various yarn options given the recent sale and dissolution, essentially, of Joann Fabrics and Crafts. Is that their full name? I know that there is going to be a gap in some people's favorite yarns. I personally use the Bernat selection from Joann's. I find their pricing is far more competitive than Michael's ever was. And then with Bernat, there's just so many color varieties, and Michael's has some of the variations, Joann's has some, Yarnspirations has some. It's just all over the place. So I'm going to miss that. I also have a long time history with Joann's. If you have seen my blog, linked in the description, I used to sew a lot, like clothing, costumes, everything. So that's pretty much the bulk of what my blog was about. And I just loved shopping at Joann's. I will miss it greatly. But between that and then also the quality issues of the Michael's yarn, Loops and Threads, I can't remember which one because I don't use it, but there's been quality issues there. And Premier Yarns, Parfait especially, just has a lot of challenges in terms of supply of certain colors. They sell out, and there seem to be some like long lag times in many instances as to when they come back in stock. So with that, I wanted to look at some alternative yarn brands to kind of fill those gaps and see what are viable alternatives, maybe discover some new yarns that I like, or maybe some just to stay away from because it just doesn't meet the needs that I have or that you may have. So I'm going to go through quite a few yarns today. This video has been a while in the making because, as you'll discover, many of these yarns are from other countries. And so the shipping can take some time, just trying to research and understand the different details of these yarn types and labels. I'm diving in to a select few yarns, which I will discuss what those are. Keep in mind that this is all coming from the perspective of purchasing and shipping to North America. So I'm going to go through the prices of the yarns as it relates to like their regular price that they have on their website. If there are any like pretty continuous deals or things like that, I'll mention that. There are other sources for some of these yarn brands, but I'm just going to share the ones that I have found to be the most prominent in shopping for them, as well as, again, what the price is that I see on their website as the standard. Any major promotions that they do. For example, I think it's Mary Maxim. The Premier yarn is labeled at $4.99, but it's always $3.99. So things like that, as well as shipping costs. So shipping costs can obviously fluctuate. These sites can change their shipping at any point, but there are some brands that seem to have deals pretty regularly over a certain threshold amount, or, you know, I give the price, but that does not factor in shipping. So I'll call that out if there's generally a higher shipping cost or something to consider when you're shopping for this yarn brand. All of this information is as of end of February, early March, 2025. So again, things can change, but keep this in mind when taking this information in. Also, all of these opinions are just my own. You may have very different opinions about these yarns. For example, I know a lot of people don't like working with Bernat for numerous reasons, and I completely get that. Bernat is the larger blanket yarn that I typically use, so I use it pretty frequently, but I do have like pros and cons and gripes about certain types of Bernat that I use, and that there is a variation in kind of the texture and feel of Bernat depending on what batch you probably got, what type of Bernat you purchase. For example, Mystical versus like regular Bernat blanket, generic blanket, because Mystical is blanket. So gonna go through all that. Also, keep in mind, all of these yarns are a weight 6, super bulky, except for Soho Skwishy, which is a 5. That being said, Soho Skwishy, as you will see, compares very similarly to like 3 other brands that I'm going to talk about that are a 6, that have a big variance from the other 6s that I'm going to discuss. So, all that being said, let's dive in. Once again, thank you for being here. If you're enjoying this content and like to see more of it, please like and subscribe to follow along. All right. So first up, let's talk about Alize Velluto. Velluto. This one has been coming up a lot in my feed. I really wanted to try it in researching it on Google. There are a lot of different places where you could purchase it, like many sellers on Etsy. All of those sellers that I have found are in Turkey. The yarn is from Turkey, so it is manufactured there. The seller that I went with to purchase it seems to be one of the primary sellers in Turkey, Hobbii. It's, I think, hobbiisyarn.com. So they, their regular price retail of Alize Velluto is $4.78. That typically is on sale maybe for like $4.50. Again, they seem to do a lot of promotions, but keep in mind with that $4.78, it's a good price, I think, in my mind, USD again. But Alize Velluto, the skeins are almost half the size of what any other skein is going to be that I mentioned today. So it's 74.3 yards, 68 meters per skein. So if looking at the regular retail price of this from Hobbii, which seems to be the predominant seller of Alize, I can't speak today, Alize Velluto, that comes out to about 64 cents a yard, or not 64 cents a yard, 0.064 cents a yard, or 0.07 cents a meter. So Alize Velluto, I would say in terms of thickness, again, these are all 6, super bulky. This is on the bulkier side of some of the yarns we're talking about today. It's more in line with, I'd say, Premier Basix Chenille Brights and some of the Bernats, a large chunk of the Bernats, honestly, when going through my collection. So just to kind of compare, this is Alize Velluto here. This is Bernat Blanket. So Bernat's a little bit fluffier, but I would probably stick with a 6 or a 6.5 for Alize Velluto. When I do Bernat Blanket, I usually do 6.5 or 7, but I find I'm more so reaching for 6.5s with Bernat right now. 7 used to be my go-to hook, but I think a lot of them are almost thinner when I'm working with them. So it is so soft compared to Bernat, especially. Again, there are some variations of Bernat Blanket. I could not tell you which because it seems to vary color by color, not even amongst like Bernat Baby Blanket or Bernat Blanket or Bernat Mystical Tweed. I can't tell when something's going to be soft or not, which that is the perk of buying in person from a Joann's or a Michael's, is you can actually touch and feel the yarn to see like, is this the kind that I like? But that's not always an option, especially if you have the world's worst Michael's 5 minutes from your house, like I do. They have nothing in stock at this Michael's in Bernat. So I always have to order online. But anyways, so it is so soft. It is such a delight to work with. Just diving into a little bit more of these details. So I ordered this from Turkey. It shipped really fast. Of all the yarns that I ordered, actually, including, I ordered from Hobbii yarns. I ordered this, Alize Velluto, and some Himalaya Dolphin yarn. So that was one. all ordered, I think, pretty much the same day. This one came first from Turkey. I also ordered from Hobbii. That one just came yesterday. That one actually took the longest. I ordered from Mary Maxim and Hirschner's. And the one from Turkey came the fastest. So that was great. They shipped it out, turned it around really fast. The shipping is expensive. Like no matter what, the shipping is pretty much, I think it starts at like 20 bucks. So when you order, I feel like if you're paying 20 bucks for shipping, probably make the most of it and order a larger quantity to kind of spread it out. And the shipping does go up. But if you buy $300 worth of yarn from Hobbii, shipping is free. That's still a lot of money for yarn. I very rarely spent $300 in one time for yarn. But in the case of this, I did because I've heard such good things about it and I wanted to try it and I wanted a variety of the yarns. And because it is a smaller amount per skein, here's a skein, just for example, comparison to Bernat Blanket. So it's a lot. That being said, Bernat Blanket is generally in a larger ball. So here, let me pull this up next to like Hobbii. So smaller yarn, fairly close in size skein. This is only 74.3 yards, 68 meters. So generally, like ordering 2 skeins of these would be equivalent to me ordering one of something else. But if you spend $300 from Hobbii, you get free shipping. There are coupons. Your first time you order, you can get 20% off. So I think there are some good deals out there. I found that the sellers on Etsy might have a smaller or a lower cost per skein, but their shipping is really high. So factor it in. There are about 50 colors, from what I could tell, of Alize Velluto. So a good color variety available. That being said, their grays are not great. See what I did there? Their grays aren't great. They're very blue. So again, we'll do a kind of snapshot here of their grays. And I don't know if with this light, the color will fully come out. They all have blue tinges to them. You can kind of see. Let's compare it to a gray. I don't know how I can hold all of this up. Yeah, I mean, this is a Bernat Blanket gray. So compared to all of these are all very blue. So that's a downside. I do feel like they have a great color variety. Actually, all of those yarns in that cabinet there are my Alize Vellutos. So I do think that they have a good color variety in general. Their grays are just kind of disappointing because they're just very blue. And it does come off as blue when you're looking at them. When I was going through my cabinet to find what gray I wanted to use for like a Totoro, I don't think I'd use any of these. Maybe this middle one, but it's blue. So that being said, their browns are lovely. So their browns, I might have dropped one. Oh, no, there's just a lot of them. So these, oh my gosh, these are their browns, not counting. These are browns. They have some great browns. They have some great browns that would be great for skin tone, for teddy bears, for hair, for everything. And again, this is similar, more similar to Premier Basix Chenille. And they have expanded their brown selection, but I do find that Premier goes out of stock of browns pretty frequently. Maybe not as much in their Basics collection, but definitely in Parfait. So we'll get into that at another point in this video. So this is the brown selection from Alize Velluto. So that's a definite perk. And then everything else, like pretty solid collection. There's, you know, a couple greens, a couple oranges. There's a lot of blues, pinks, reds, a good solid red, like red. So keep that in mind. All right, let's go on then to the next direct comparison that I would have on this, which is Premier Basic Chenille Brights. So Premier Basics Chenille Brights, they just expanded their line, and the price of a skein, like regular price, is $3.99 if you're ordering from Premier directly. For someone in North America, they ship from North Carolina. That's where their headquarters is. For me, I'm in North Carolina. I get it basically the next day. Like, their turnaround, once they mark shipped, is super fast. You get 112 yards or 103 meters per skein, so more than Alize Velluto. And it is also a 6, super bulky. So all of that to consider. And I did not see in Velluto any like variants other than solid colors. Premier did just release a basics collection with variegated yarns. So that's another nice touch that they have. Again, as someone in North America purchasing, you're going to get generally faster turnaround time for shipping. Premier does offer free shipping in the US for $75 or more, and I think it's $99 or more for Canada. So then we have Bernat Blanket. Again, a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with this. It can have a, depending on your skein, like the feel can be off. Again, I couldn't tell you which yarns of theirs it particularly applies to because it does vary. I don't think it even varies based on like where you're purchasing it. It just, some of them have kind of like a stickier feeling. It can be not as smooth to work with. If I had to rate like smoothness in crocheting / knitting, I would say Alize Velluto, it's like butter. Premier Basics, it's still easy to work with and it doesn't like get stuck when you're doing a magic circle. It does have like a little bit more of a texture to it than Velluto. And then Bernat, sorry, my printer's feeling possessed. Bernat, it's just hit or miss. You don't know if it's going to be one of the sticky yarns or not. That being said, I couldn't tell you how many colors there are of Bernat out there. There's so many colors, so many varieties. Some of them you may never find in stock. Sand, I'm looking at you. Taupe used to be near impossible to find. It just depends on where you're buying it from. You can sometimes find them priced higher on like Amazon. Sorry, my printer really is just having a mind of its own right now. So the pricing of that also varies. I did find Joann's consistently had the best price, especially when you factored in coupons and things like that. My Michaels, everyone talks about like, oh, Michaels always has a coupon. I was there yesterday. There was a coupon. There were no coupons in the app. I don't know if they're like, Joann's is gone, let's just raise our prices. I don't know. There were things on sale in the store, but not from the yarn collection that I saw. So $12.99 for a skein of Bernat Blanket is pretty standard for them. And you may or may not find a coupon. You might have rewards, depending if you write through your money at them in another instance. So it kind of depends. If you order online from Michaels, they usually have a 20% off coupon, either for in-store pickup or just online purchases. So keep that in mind. Bernat Blanket, though, you can also get at Yarnspirations, who I feel like does regularly have some decent pricing on them, as well as shipping deals, or Walmart has them. The Walmart by me doesn't have a lot. I generally try to avoid shopping at Walmart in general, but they do have some Bernat Blanket, especially in like unique color offerings, like their tweed. I have never found the Bernat Blanket tweed in black or dark brown except for at Walmart. I haven't found them online anywhere else. But same with Yarnspirations. I have found different varieties of Bernat Blanket that I have not found anywhere else. So you kind of have to shop around to find them, which I kind of see that as a con almost, from the sense that like consistently, if you're looking for something, you might have to poke around to find it. And unfortunately, I think Joann's did have some varieties of it that I don't know that we maybe be able to get. I don't know if Bernat will make it available elsewhere as a result of this. And by Bernat, I guess I mean Spin Right. So something to consider. jumping into the individual price, and sorry, going back to Premier Basics. So Premier Basics, $3.99 for a skein. That comes out to 0.036 cents per yard, or 0.039 a meter. Bernat at $12.99, which again seems to be kind of the regular price average that I see. That's 0.059 per yard, or 0.065 for a meter. And that's because they have generally 220 yards or 201 meters per skein of the basic one. They do have the extra, like, bigger size Bernat skeins around in limited colors, so I'm not talking about those. All right, let's get into the smaller side of the super bulky yarns, or in the case of Soho Skwishy, it is a size 5, which again, keep in mind, Soho Skwishy looks to be about the exact same size as Premier Parfait, Honey Bunny from Hobbii, Toucan, Baby Snuggle. They all seem to be the same size, have similar textures. So, and Himalaya Dolphin. So let's talk about that. Moving on to Premier Parfait Chunky. So I do have a special place in my heart for Premier Parfait. Premier being located in North Carolina. I'm in North Carolina. I get my stuff from them super fast. I find the quality is generally consistent with each color that I'm getting of the Parfait line. Occasionally I get some that shed way more than feels necessary. For example, the last batch of purples that I got, the dark purple, it fills me with rage every time I have to use it, like sewing with it. But I don't have that problem with their yarns usually. It's just sometimes I get a weird batch of that. They do all of these, I checked. And again, some Premier do more so than others. But all of these that I'm talking about, the Soho Skwishy, the Honey Bunny, like if you just pinch, I'm saying that now, but you're going to get like the fuzz. I'm usually covered in fuzz after I'm done working with Parfait. So Premier Parfait, regular price, $4.99. That's for 131 yards, 120 meters per skein. It says that the crochet size is an 8 or an L. I would never. I usually use a 4 or 5 for my Parfait makes. There's about 63 colors, give or take, of Parfait. What is available at any given time might be more like 55. That's just my guess. But you can shop around for your Parfait to get them. I have been trying to get their teddy bear color brown for so long, and I don't know where I put it, but I did finally snag some from, I think, Mary Maxim, and I almost didn't believe it, so I actually put 10 skeins of it in my cart because I have not been able to get teddy bear forever, and they shipped out 10, so yay, now I have some. But that's just something, like, it really does fluctuate. During the holidays, you could not get their emerald green at all. It's back in stock now. It was out, I want to say, for over a month. And I find that's kind of consistent with some of the more popular colors depending on the season for Premier Parfait in particular. But the pricing comes out to 38 or 0.038 a yard, or 0.042 a meter, and free shipping in the United States for over $75 collectively from your Premier order. So you can be ordering other types of yarn too. And I think it's $99 for Canada. So I do like the variety of yarn colors that Premier Parfait has. Their browns are great. They have a great variety to them. Their shell is a nice, like, light skin tone color, peachish kind of. But those are some of the more popular colors and can be out of stock. Right now, cream is out of stock. Teddy bear. I know shell was out of stock at one point when I was trying to buy it. So I feel like I have to almost hoard some of their yarn just to ensure during peak seasons that I have the colors that I want or need. So keep that in mind. But you can also buy it from Mary Maxim and Hirschner's. And I find between those 3 brands, I am able to get the colors that I need. But Mary Maxim and Hirschner's do charge quite a bit for shipping. They do have promos fairly regularly, but depending on if you have like urgency and needing something, just, you know, you got to be on the lookout for the deal for that. All right, going on to Soho Skwishy. So this one, primarily I found at Hirschner's. I'm not sure if it's like directly affiliated with Hirschner's or what the deal is. It is a little stiffer and stickier, I'd say, than Premier Parfait or the other kinds we're talking about. It does also fuzz just as easily. You can see the little like tail there where I tested it. It's also from Turkey, so, you know, I don't know necessarily where to get this other than Hirschner's domestically, but this is an option. It is also like Premier Parfait, 131 yards, 120 meters, $4.99 a skein, so that would come out to the same price per yard and meter as Premier Parfait at regular price. So it was domestic shipping from Hirschner's, but it was pretty slow, and the shipping costs can be high depending on the spend amount, unless you break a threshold or you have a coupon. So keep that in mind. Only about 20 colors from what I could tell. So they did sell the packs of the yarn at Hirschner's in different like bundles of spring or browns or earth tones. So I was able to get some different bundles and a little bit lower cost buying them in bulk from that. But that is Soho Skwishy. All right. Hobbii Honey Bunny, Toucan, and Baby Snuggle. I'm just going to lump them all together from like a talking point of the texture, but I'll give you kind of an overview. So for Honey Bunny, the retail $9.10 for shipping direct from the company. That's their regular price. So it's definitely on the steeper end. Though if you're comparing it to Alize Velluto, the amount of yarn, it like levels out. So at $9.10, that is 0.069 a yard or 0.076 a meter, which is a little bit more than Alize Velluto with the individual breakdown. 131 yards, 120 meters. This ships from Denmark and can be pricey to ship, though free shipping is available for over $99 purchases. There are 36 color variations that I was able to count for Honey Bunny, 34 for Toucan, and 37 for Baby Snuggle. So you got some color options there. But like for one varietal, it's a little bit less than some of the other ones that have more options available. So yeah, you can see Honey Bunny and Toucan. And again, I will put a photo of these all together so you can kind of see them. But I mean, I know a lot of people work with Hobbii. I was very excited to work with them. They did take a long time to get to me, so that was kind of a bummer. But I'm comparing this to kind of the other brands that I had received. Okay. I think that's all that I wanted to say for that one for now. Again, I'll do a comparison of like items side by side for all of these guys. Finally, Himalaya Dolphin Baby. Himalaya Dolphin Baby. There's over 70 colors that I could find of this. I'm not going to give a detail of where to buy it because the internet gave so many options. I could not pick one that had like a general mass quantity of it. That being said, I got this from Hobbii, which is where I got the Alize Velluto from. So, you know, the pricing seemed decent from them, but there's so many options. If you're just looking for Himalayan Dolphin, you do a Google and click on shopping and you'll have a lot to choose from. I know a lot of people buy it from Amazon too, I guess if you need it sooner. But the shopping from Hobbii, they shipped it fast and it came through pretty quick. That was the first of all of these orders that I got, and they were international. So I love the color variety. I did not buy as many colors of this one, so I'm just going to show this for now because there's a bunch behind me. But again, they have over 70 color varieties, so that's great. I think if you're looking for a specific shade, unless you know what you're looking for, you might be in a bit of a pickle just because of the international shipping and the variety, vast variety available to you. But if you already know, like, oh, I really like this color for this, you're set. So again, I'm going to drop a photo in kind of comparing all of the smaller, thinner yarns side by side so you can see like what they look like in terms of thickness, but they're all pretty close, if not exact. So that is Himalaya Dolphin. That being said, my favorites of these, Alize Velluto is my new boo. I love it. Like, it is so nice to crochet with. I've actually made quite a few things with it so far that I can share. All right, I'm doing a comparison of the different chenille type thinner yarns. So here I have Premier Parfait. My dog's running around. The kids are outside playing with the leaf blower. It's fine. Everything's fine. This is a combination of Hobbii Baby Snuggles, Honey Bunny, and Toucan. And then this is all Soho Skwishy. So I have the most of Premier Parfait because I do already use that regularly. So unfortunately I didn't have a tag. These were the balls I already had. Also, this is a little teacup kitten pattern from Cable and Canvas. It's a great pattern, and I think it's going to be great for Easter basket kind of promotions. Premier Parfait, it's a known entity for me. It does, all of these are awful for magic circles. Like, it's really hit or miss with some of them. I feel like Premier Parfait is kind of 50-50. I don't think I had a good experience with either of these in my magic circles, but that doesn't mean they're all like that. I just find that with the chenille yarns, magic circles are tough. They fray. Sewing with these yarns, they all have like the little, the pieces that come off, so you're gonna be covered in yarn fluff. But anyways, Premier Parfait is definitely consistently the softest, and I feel like consistently feels the same across the board. For Hobbii, Toucan was pretty good to work with. Baby Snuggles was lovely and soft. Honey Bunny, I don't know if it was this green in particular, and I didn't use a lot of the brown, but it was so sticky and squeaky. I'll insert a clip of the squeaking. It was so painful to do the few rounds with this. So I have a few more skeins of it. I will give it a try with other ones, but that was something I did not love about it. Soho, I didn't love. It doesn't feel great. It's kind of coarse almost. Like, it's not rough, but it's not as soft as these other two. I don't have Himalaya Baby Dolphin out here. I don't have enough variety in colors of it, but I do really like it, and I think it is very comparable to Premier Parfait, and I would definitely order it again. Honestly, I don't know if I would order Hobbii or Soho. I wouldn't order Soho Skwishy again. I'm going to go through what I have of it, but it just wasn't for me. And again, all of these opinions are my own, and just based on my experience. I have quite a few skeins of Soho Skwishy, so I'll make my way through those, but it wasn't the greatest experience to work with. Hobbii, I'm definitely going to keep giving it a try. I mean, if anything, to get through what I have, but the price, at least for me in the United States, is pretty steep. If I was purely working off of like Baby Snuggle, I would 100% do it, but I just wasn't as excited about Honey Bunny as I thought I would be. I know a lot of people use it. So again, I'll keep trying the other kinds that I have of Honey Bunny and see if I have the same experience with those. But this was just, the green was really like sticky feeling, and the squeak was intense. So that's the comparison, the side by side of these yarns. I use the same hook size for all of them. Ultimately, they all worked up the same. It really was just kind of a texture and yeah, I mean, I guess ultimately texture of what I was dealing with and the shedding. So none of these had like intense shedding. It was not great doing the magic circles at the beginning to start any of them. Sometimes when I'm working with this type of yarn, I just do the chain 2 to start my circle. But yeah, so that's the comparison, the side by side of these 3 yarns. This is Future Christine, coming to you after I did a lot of this testing and the debrief on the yarn. So I originally said that the Hobbii Honey Bunny was pretty rough to work with. I found that really hard to believe because I know so many makers use it. So I didn't want to like write it off completely based on the one skein that I worked with. I did buy several skeins and wanted to give it a fair go. So yes, the green that I had was so painful to work with and so squeaky, but I am happy to report that I've tried a couple more since then and they were great. They were lovely. So just a bad one. And again, that happens. I have a Premier Parfait purple that makes me want to tear my hair out because it just like disintegrates as I work with it. So you know what? Stuff happens. So just wanted to get back with an update on the Honey Bunny yarn. Let's take a look at the variation between Alize Velluto, which is this dark gray turtle, and Premier Basix Chenille. So hopefully we can kind of see. The Alize Velluto it feels very smooth when you're working with it. Again, it's just really soft. It does have texture to it, obviously, but like I feel like the Basix Chenille has quite a bit more in terms of texture. Like it looks a little, not rougher, but here is a Basix Chenille toad. And so if you're looking at the Velluto, turtle, toad, Chenille, Basix, there's a difference. I mean, they obviously can still work together. I did the shell in Basix. I did the turtle in Velluto. But yeah, just you can kind of see the texture side by side of that. And then again, if we were to bring just a variation of Bernat into this, because Bernat just really does vary across the board. It's almost kind of in between the two. Like I feel like there's more of a texture to Basix versus Bernat, and then definitely Velluto is, I'd say, the softest of all of them. So again, depending on the Bernat that you are working with, it could be stickier, it could be thinner. They're just kind of, I don't want to say inconsistent across the board, but they do vary the most of all the yarns that I work with in the 6 super bulky. So I think these two pair well together, and I like this green. It's just a nice green variation from some of the other ones, and this is the Basix. There is an emerald green too for Basix. I have so much yarn right now. But yeah, I'm curious what solutions you found, if it was any of these yarns that I discussed today, if any of these are a favorite of yours, or if there's one that I may have missed. I know that there are a few other like small labels that I have not tested, either because I didn't know about them at the time of placing these mass orders of yarn, or just I was trying to keep it within a collective group of larger sizes. But I am always open to trying new yarn too. If you have a recommendation, drop it in the comments below, or share your thoughts if you've worked with these yarns and you like a particular one. But Alize Velluto is my new favorite. Honestly, I will be getting a lot of that to work with going forward. Just the challenge being grays, but I can find other options for that. And Premier Basics Chenille Brights really does work well in with that, though the texture is a little different, and I'll show what that looks like. And then Bernat Blanket, I mean, it is like a go-to for me, but it does not feel as nice to work with as the Velluto does. So I think given like for like colors, I would pick Velluto to work with. And it just does really whip up nicely. I'd go for that. So I love Parfait Chunky. Like, it really is one of my favorites, but it can be hard to get the colors that I want at times. And sometimes the like shedding of some of the colors can be frustrating to work with, but I find more often than not, I don't have that issue. It really just does seem like once in a while there is a colorway that is testing me in my patience and how much fuzz I want on all of my belongings. So yeah. All right. Thanks for joining me today. If you like this, please like and subscribe, and I hope you'll join me again. I have a lot more exciting content coming up. Yeah, and I hope you'll follow along. So thank you. Have a great day.